my god. I better not catch you buying pizza from the store. Right here, I've got my family's secret pizza dough recipe. No stand mixer, no special equipment, only 30 minutes of prep time, and almost no need to knead. What does that mean? You'll find out in a little bit. So what I really love about this recipe is that it's so simple. It comes together with just 5 ingredients, and this is actually a top secret family recipe. We're gonna start out by adding 3 cups of flour into our bowl, along with 1 tablespoon of instant yeast, 1 tablespoon of sugar. You can also use maple syrup here, and a little teaspoon of salt. And we're gonna give that a really quick mix just to bring everything together. And then I'm adding my warm water along with 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I have to give my mom full credit for this recipe because growing up, every night was pizza night in my house. She would make the dough 100% from scratch. That's where I got this recipe. And then she would chop up all the toppings and she would add 1 special secret Persian ingredient that I'll tell you about a little bit later. I loved this tradition so much that when my fiance and I moved out together, we made it our mission to continue the Friday night pizza tradition. But what we would do is, because it was just the 2 of us, we would divide the dough in 2, have one of the pizzas for dinner, and then put the next one in the freezer to have for lunch the next day. And funny enough, the second pizza was always better than the first one. This is a very sticky dough, so don't worry if your hands are covered in the dough. Just bring it together enough that there's no dry flour left, and then it's just gonna go back into your bowl to rise. I'm gonna grab some plastic wrap so that we can cover this dough and put it into the microwave to rise. And when I say microwave, I should probably be saying my dough proofer because that's what I use it for like 90% of the time. Now that my dough is ready to go, I'm gonna put it in the microwave, which is a warm place for it to rise for the next 60 to 90 minutes until it's doubled in size. I'm gonna clean up a little bit over here and then we're gonna move over to the stove so we can make our marinara sauce. A dough scraper is my favorite tool for getting dough off of the counter because it helps me scrape it right off and then I can just wipe it down with a wet cloth. Now, my marinara sauce is really simple, just 4 ingredients, but the key is to have freshly strained tomatoes. My fiance and I actually bought a giant pellet this summer of tomatoes so that we could make our own strained tomatoes to have all winter long. Now, looking back now, that was probably the best decision we ever made, but when we were sitting there in our kitchen absolutely covered in tomatoes, we did not feel the same. I like to keep my seasoning for my marinara sauce really simple. I love to add basil, so I will always put that in, and then just salt and pepper. And I have 1 secret ingredient that will absolutely transform your marinara sauce, and that is sugar. So you're gonna think, wait, that's gonna sweeten my marinara sauce. No, it's not. It's just gonna improve the flavor and take away that tomato acidity. And that's everything that we need for the tomato sauce. I'm just gonna grab something to mix that all together with. I'm not Italian, but if anybody's Nona wants to adopt me for just 1 summer so I can be part of that tomato sauce making process, please let me know because that is just one of my absolute dreams. Buying tomatoes at the end of the summer is probably one of my biggest money-saving hacks in my kitchen because it's absurd how much tomato prices increase in the winter. You can get an entire pellet for like $20 in the summer and then buy 6 tomatoes for the same price in the winter. Okay, a little bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. They're expensive. And now that our marinara sauce is cooked down, it's ready to go, and we're gonna go chop up our vegetables while we're still waiting for our dough to finish rising. Now on to choosing our toppings, arguably the most important part. Now, remember that Friday night tradition that I told you about? We would turn these into competitions, and everybody would choose their own toppings, and those pizzas would have to be rated to crown a winner. And these 5 toppings made me reigning champion in all of those competitions. My favorite toppings to put on pizza are onions, peppers, mushrooms, and salami. And don't forget corn, that is probably my favorite topping to put on pizza. Whenever someone comes into my kitchen and asks if they can help, the first thing they want to do is cut the vegetables because that's like the easy task to do, right? But I always say no because this is my favorite part of doing any meal. Cutting the vegetables is such a mindless and relaxing task that I will never pass it on to anyone, ever. Moving here from Iran at a really young age, one of the things that I miss most about the country is honestly the pizza. You might think pizza comes from Italy, but let me tell you, Persian pizza is better than any pizza you will ever have. And that is truly because of the toppings that we add. The combination of the mortadella, the peppers, corn, the sauce, the mayo on top, the ketchup, which an Italian would murder me for saying, all of these that come together, they just make the most delicious pizza. I would highly recommend anybody travel to Iran just to try their pizza one time. Being a health conscious person, one of my favorite things about making my own pizza at home is that I can choose what to put into it, what ingredients are really going into it, and one change that I like to make is to do beef or chicken salami instead of pepperoni or pork salami because it's so much less full of fat, so it's a little bit healthier. My fiance and I are always fighting over these before they even make it to the pizza, and then my dog is there pounding at my leg to give him some too. No. Now that we have everything prepped, our dough, our marinara sauce, all of our vegetables, and our meat, it's time to bring it all together into one magical pizza. This pizza is just riddled with hacks from my mom, and her first hack for making pizza is to always butter your pan. Don't add parchment paper because that will make your pizza soggy. Butter is all that you need for your pizza to slide right off. This recipe does not require a wood-burning oven. All I need to use is my own oven and a baking sheet, but I will say one of my dreams when I'm older is to have a pizza oven in my backyard that is wood-burning and massive so that I can continue the Friday night pizza tradition in style. I'm spreading my pizza dough really thin into my pan, and the funny thing about pizza dough is that you're gonna think that it won't possibly stretch more, but it will. Just keep stretching little by little and it'll fill your entire pan. You know that question that you get asked, if you could have one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? For me, it's definitely pizza, and that's because pizza is one of those recipes that you can just add any toppings to. I could change this to do different toppings and make it relevant to any cuisine. I could even slap some chocolate on my pizza and make it a dessert pizza, which sounds so good right now. I'm gonna save that other half to make some chocolate pizza. My fiance and I are absolutely insane when it comes to toppings. There is a pizza shop that we love going to, and it's a build your own pizza bar. And we will add so many toppings at that pizza bar that they will cut us off. They will tell us that we can't possibly add anything else onto the pizza or they're gonna kick us out of the store. And then we ask to add a little bit more too because that's just who we are. Being Persian, a margarita pizza is not even in our vocabulary. Like a pizza with just sauce and cheese, no way. I have to add my onions, I have to add my corn, my salami. I just can't even have my pizza without it. It's not possible. Never ever forget your mushrooms. Mushrooms are probably one of my favorite vegetables ever. I could do a whole pizza filled with like different types of mushrooms, and that just sounds like a dream to me. Funny enough, I actually hated mushrooms when I was little. So when I grew up and I started to like it, I think I might have been from the influence of my fiance because he's obsessed with them. My mom was so confused because she would hand me a pizza with no mushrooms because when I was little I didn't like it, but now I'm just obsessed with them. My very last topping is going onto my pizza, and then I'm gonna bake it at 425 degrees for 25 minutes until it's perfectly golden and crispy. My finishing touch is to always add some cheese right on top so that everything sticks together, but there is one more secret ingredient that I did mention before, and I did not forget. That's going to be added when our pizza is fully done. This thing is ready to be baked, and I'm so excited to eat it. Oh my God, would you just look at this pizza? This might be the best pizza I've ever made, and I am not exaggerating when I say that. But this pizza is missing something. Don't think I forgot about the secret ingredient. The secret ingredient to any Persian pizza is a big hefty dash of oregano. This looks way too good to wait. I'm gonna go put on my favorite show and eat this with my fiance. As always, the recipe will be in the description. And if you love this one, I know you're gonna love this recipe as well. Don't forget to subscribe for so many more delicious recipes.